Hey, Sergio, how are you?
Hey.
What are you doing?
Hey, Sophia, how are you? Good to see you.
Social media, what's new? What's new?
Of course, I'm always on my social media. Well, not always, but a lot of the time. Good to see you. How are you, Sophia?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you to all our friends also that you brought with you here. Welcome to Breakfast with Sergio, except there's no breakfast right now, but it's breakfast time anyway. So, Sophia, since you're here and everybody's here, why don't we talk about, the kind of like the follow-up to our previous conversation on telling your artist story, but this time as an established artist. So if you're an established artist or you have been, making art for a long time and you feel that, you have had a lot of experience with this, well, and you're still wondering like, what should I post on my Instagram or my Facebook, etc., this episode will totally help you out. So, good to see you, Sophia. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you? How's your morning going?
So far, so good. Super happy because, again, we've been getting a lot of great comments on the previous episodes on this series that we are doing together on telling your artist story. And if you want to meet Sophia, actually, you have to go and watch the two previous episodes.
Yes, guys, go watch me.
So let's talk about this idea of how do we tell our artist story if I am an established artist, right? Because that's one of the things that for a lot of artists takes the hardest, what to say, what to do in social media. It feels like it's a hurdle, it's something that you gotta do and feel sometimes salesy or too markety. So how do you do it in a way that becomes natural to you, in a way that you can enjoy the process and in a way that doesn't feel like, work, but rather
like it's forced.
pleasure. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like again. Oh.
Well, I do enjoy this process a lot, and for me, kind of was this idea of how looking at things in a different perspective of sharing everything that I've been teaching you so far in this series, starting from the emerging artists, looking at your origin story, looking at your values, looking at your influences as an artist. And then on the second video where we talk about the mid-career artist, talking about the experiences that you had so far, the highs of your career, the lows of your career. So you can still talk about all that, bring that all in, but as an established artist, as an artist who has now a lot more experience, who have been around for a long time, you can add another layer to that, to telling your story, to sharing your story to your audience. And this is something that, to me, I came to learn along the way, because this is something that nobody's teaching you, nobody's talking about. So I think as an established artist, something that you have now is, besides, the experience, is also now you have the opportunity to also impart some knowledge and some experience for others to also take in and to observe. In other words, you can now use your story to educate. Right? Where previous episodes we're talking about sharing, your story, the highs and lows and everything that we talk about, the thing that made you who you are. As an established artist, now you have also the opportunity to educate others, to give back,
help.
to help,
help
exactly.
Emerging artists.
To help emerging, to help, anyone, even artists of your own generation. Is this idea of, well, I got all this information, through my career, through the experiences that I had. What am I going to do with it? Am I going to keep it or am I going to share it? So when you decide to share it, that gives you a whole lot of really exciting things that you can use for your social media posts. Artists who are doing that, at that stage of their career, are artists that I highly admire as well.
So like one example for a post, like what would you do, or what would you say?
So a post like that, for example, I could take, for example, one of the artworks in my studio, and I can do, a teaching moment, for example, in which I talk about a technique that I learned, or I can talk about something within my art practice that I have learned along the way. Either I learned it through hardship or I learned it through something that was, a high of my career. For example, you can talk about what it takes to ship your art internationally. I have actually done many episodes about that on my Breakfast with Sergio. I have also done posts like that. So for an artist who is not there yet, who has never had the opportunity or experience to ship internationally, that becomes something that of value to that person, right? Because you're sharing it based on your own experience, and then it
The do's and don'ts.
yes, it becomes an educational moment. Yeah, the do's and don'ts. Yeah. And so those are the different things that as an established artist you can bring a lot of value to other people, by kind of sharing those pieces of information that you have gathered, and now others will find them to be super, super valuable. And when you do that, I think not only helps you to remember those things, but also helps you to be of value to others. And those who are in your community will appreciate that. And there's a difference between sharing the things that versus trying to be kind of like stuck up about that, or to consider, or showing off. So as an established artist, my friend, if you're one of those right now, you're an established artist, you have this opportunity to give back, to share with the world. And that's something that for me is one of the most exciting things. That's why I started Breakfast with Sergio, was in my kitchen table, like, how can I share a little bit of something that I've learned? So that's what started this whole thing. Now 300 and something episodes later, and now Sophia here on the other side of the screen,
yes.
We are talking about these things. So think about what you can do, in order to give back. And by the way, you don't have to wait to be an established artist to share the things that with your audience. You can share them at any time. But I'm just talking about, that as an established artist, you have gathered all this experience and knowledge that now you can share it with the world. So hopefully that's helpful for you, my friend, who's watching this. And
even for me.
It's for you too.
Even for me.
Exactly. So
future me.
The future you, the present you as well. So thank you, my friends. Don't forget, next episode is going to be really awesome. We're going to talk about, you have to tell your story without bragging, which a lot of artists have a hard time. How do you talk about your successes, your wins in life, in your art career, without sound like you're bragging to the world?
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
That's going to be a good one. So
well, we'll let you get back to your social media.
Thank you. I'll get back to my work right here.
Yes.
So,
thank you so much for having us today.
Goodbye, everybody. Don't forget, click follow. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends. And if you need help with your art career, make sure to go to theartistnextlevel.com. Goodbye.
Bye, Sergio.